and we are ready to dispense with the chit chat and get going. Okay, so give me just about 20 seconds here, and let me make our screen live. And there we go. All right, so it looks like we're ready to rock and roll. All right, so Gil and Mark and okay, I'm getting all sorts of booms coming over here. Nice to see you, Mark. Absolutely. So how many of you guys excited about 2017? Can you believe it's just around the corner? I absolutely cannot believe Halloween's behind us and now looking to Thanksgiving here. So absolutely crazy. Okay, so I see some guys already asking about the recordings. The recordings are this, guys. I record the sessions through GoToWebinar, then they shoot me a video file when it's done, and I try to upload it to YouTube, and then I email it out to you. So I'll try to get a recording out to you tonight, if not, no later than tomorrow morning. And I see a bunch more folks asking about the Facebook group. Here's how you find me. Just go to Facebook, open up your Facebook, and just do a search on Facebook for Serious Mortgage Marketers. Serious Mortgage Marketers is the name of the group. You can also find it under Future Top Producers. Okay, either one of those keywords will bring up my group, and then just click to request to join, and I'll get you approved by today. All right, awesome. So for 2017, guys, here's how I need you to help me out. Go ahead and type in the box. Tell me, what do you think about lead generation? In other words, where's that at for you? What's that looking like? What are your barriers? What do you feel is your biggest challenge? When you think about 2017 and you're thinking about, hey, you know what, I got to get my business plan, what am I going to do differently in this coming year? What can I do to prepare for it now? Do you get those warm and fuzzy feelings, or do you get those feelings of dread and feel like, oh man, you know what, this is not going to be fun? When you think those thoughts, whether you're feeling great and looking forward to it, or you feel like, oh boy, this is going to be a challenge, what do you think those barriers are? What's making you feel that way? Okay, just help me out and let me know in the chat box. So is it more in regards to, do you think it's just because we have a boring product to sell? Not as fun as realtors? How many borrowers are excited about talking to a loan officer and having to pull up all that documentation and the stress that comes with the not knowing and wondering, are things going to fall through? Do you think it's our product? Do you think it's the amount of time that's required to get your lead generation strategies going? Do you think it's just that, hey, being a loan officer can be very overwhelming, especially if you don't have a database and referrals to draw from? So I want you guys just to think about that for a couple seconds, and then I have one more big question for you. And I promise you guys, by the end of this call, I want you guys to please let me know if this was one of the most impressive and helpful strategies you've ever seen, because I promise you right now, this is one of the coolest lead generation strategies I've ever demonstrated on a webinar before, and I want to know if you guys agree with me, okay? So stick with me. But my big question to you is this. When you think about all the things that pop in your head when you think about lead generation, what would need to happen to make things easier for you? Do you have an answer for that question? What would need to happen to make things easier for you? Let's say your goal for 2017 is to double your income. Okay, that seems pretty straightforward. What would have to happen? What would have to happen to make that a reality? Would you have to find a whole new source of leads? Or would you just have to find a way to convert a higher percentage of leads? Would you have to find a new way to get more referrals? What things would have to transpire to make that a reality for you? Okay, so I'm getting all sorts of answers right here. So I'm getting I need to marry all my strategies and make them work together hand in hand. Okay, here's an answer. Says Ricky says, I need more automation. Travis says more automation. Bill says all of the above. I need a whole new source of leads from Rick. Jimmy says, I need to buy into a system that I trust will really work so that I will actually have the confidence to work consistently. Jim, I need a better oh, wow, they're scrolling so fast across the screen. That's why I'm jumping around. I need better producing referral partners from Jim. I need more solid referral connections from Mark. More purchase leads to leverage for more business from referrals. Rob says he just needs an assistant. Okay, Gordon, I just need good leads. Okay, so these are all great answers. So I'm going to do my best to address these as we go along. But the very first thing that I want to point your attention to, guys, because all these answers are that you guys are giving me are fantastic, but when I really sit down and chat with a lot of loan officers, here's what happens. Is what I find out is that a lot of them, what they're really missing is a good formula, a recipe, okay? Now, how many of you guys have seen anything that's really worth doing that didn't follow some sort of a formula, a plan, or recipe, whatever you want to call it, whichever word sounds best to you? Because most things, these big Fortune 500 companies, do you think they just haphazard and people show up at work each day, not sure what they're going to do and just see where the day takes them? No. They have specific departments, and then they have heads of those departments, and then everybody has their own assigned task and duty. They have a very well-written and probably an extremely long business plan, okay? They're typically the size of books, right? Now, that can sound intimidating, but what that results in is predictable results. Why do franchises work so well? McDonald's and Hardee's and Jack in the Box and all these places that have hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of locations, why do they thrive wherever they open a location? Because they already know what their formula is, and if you implement that formula, you're going to get the same end result. So I ask people, what's the best thing you've ever cooked or made in your life with your hands? What's the best thing you've ever made? What would happen, let's say, if you just stumbled across a fantastic recipe and then didn't touch that recipe for a year and then just came back and said, I'm going to make that. I don't remember what all went into it, but I'm just going to throw some things together and hope it comes out tasting the same or looking the same or whatever the case may be. Do you think you'd be impressed, or do you think you'd be frustrated and disappointed that, man, I really wish I knew what that recipe was? So what we need is something similar. We need a recipe. We need to run our business with a formula. So we're going to go over what that formula is for 2017. Okay, this is basically the best strategy, the best way to formula and identify what works, guys, is to just lay things out in a bullet point checklist as to what needs to happen for you to generate leads. So here's my ideal formula, guys, and this comes from doing this for a very, very long time, and I've worked with thousands and thousands of loan officers, mortgage companies, entire branches, real estate companies. I've been in the industry for a while, and this is what, when somebody comes to me and says, hey, I need more business, and I need a better business, and I need to work less and have less stress, these are the things that need to be present. Number one, write these down, guys. You need to have a web presence. Now, I'll tell you what, back in when I first started teaching around 2005, 2006, I used to get a lot of loan officers would tell me, you know what, I only do business by referral only. All my business comes from referrals. When I teach them or offer to teach them how to generate leads and self-generate, and they, I just do my referrals. Where are those folks now? How well is that working for them now? Now, it's not to say that it's a bad thing to get the bulk of your business from referrals, but when it's the only thing, when you're putting all your eggs in one basket, is that a good thing in 2016 and even more importantly, 2017? No, you need a good web presence in this day and age because that's where people find you. That's how they gauge you. That's how they decide if you are trustworthy and somebody that they're going to talk to. Next, we need engagement. So we can't just send people to a website and hope they're going to fill out a mini app or a fast app or even a full-blown 1003. Not going to happen 99.9999% of the time. You need engagement. We're going to go over all of this in detail, guys, and how to implement in just a moment. We need bait. Once we have engaged them, now we need bait, or some people call it a lead magnet. You've probably heard it called, and that means how do I get them to give me their information so that I actually have a lead? I go from just having a nameless prospect, a nebulous prospect floating around on my site, to actually having a name, an email, a phone number, what they're looking for. We get that through lead magnets and bait. Self-qualifying behavior. What behaviors do they take that show me that and help me delineate between a good lead and a crappy lead? Raise of hands. How many people here wants crappy leads? How many of you guys have experienced crappy leads and you're sick and tired of crappy leads? Can I get a boom on that one? How many of you guys are sick and tired of crappy leads? Yeah, there we go. Everybody. All right. I got so many booms coming across the screen. All right. Actually, can I just ask you guys real quick, can everybody see my screen? I just had two people tell me that they're just seeing a blank screen. Can everybody see my screen right now? I'm still getting so many booms scrolling. Let me know if you can see my, okay, so for any of you guys who can't see my screen, you might want to try maybe close out of some of, if you have other web tabs open or other things that might be using up some of your system resources, close out of them and see if that helps. I'm just going to pause and then refresh my screen too. So, and then if you guys can help me out by, if you're not seeing my screen, do the same. All right. So self-qualifying behavior. How do we delineate between crappy leads and good leads? We need intriguing follow-up. Just sending an email doesn't work anymore in 2017. Again, any booms on that one? Just sending an email doesn't work. Yes, you'll get some people to respond. But if you had to guess, what percentage would you say, if all you have is an email lead, what percentage of those people are going to get back in touch with you? I've found 10% or less usually. Yeah, Jim, 20%. Okay, so Jim's doing pretty good there. That's actually excellent. For most folks, it's about 10% or less, so maybe 1 in 10. So our follow-up can't just be send an email and then be done with it. You need an intriguing follow-up strategy. And then we need automation for consistency because we're humans, we're busy, we live in a crazy busy world and crazy busy lives we're leading. So we need automation because otherwise we're just not going to follow up the way we need to. All right, so we can't fight our human nature anymore. Instead, let's just let technology take care of those things because it's going to do it far better than we ever could in a million years anyways. All right, so that's my formula. But let's translate that formula into something workable. But first, the first thing on that formula was your web presence. So just a couple of quick things as to what you need with your web presence. Yes, Ed, I am indeed recording it. If you can't see my screen, you might want to try logging out and logging back in. So, because it seems like most people here can see it. If you're having some sort of issue, it might be an issue with the original login. I would give that a shot, Ed. If not, I'll definitely send you the video. So your web presence, how is it performing for you? Well, first of all, your web presence, guys, must cover the basics for 2017. Now, you probably noticed that we have a lot of trends going on here, just even in the past year to year and a half, and that is that we finally crossed that barrier to where more people are using mobile than they are desktops, okay? We actually crossed that line over a year ago. So you got to have mobile. Your web presence needs to be mobile friendly. You got to have social these days. We know that the overwhelming majority of Americans are on Facebook, they're on Instagram, they're on Pinterest, they're on Twitter, they're on all of these things. And they're using it as a research and referral tool and to stay in touch with the businesses or the folks that they do business with, okay? We need search, people using search engines like never before, okay? Google is still the 900-pound gorilla on the block, and you got to be running ads. Anything less than, if we're ignoring or missing any of these pieces of the puzzle, guys, then we're operating on 3 cylinders. We're shooting ourselves in the foot because you got to have these pieces of the puzzle. We got to have mobile, we got to have social, we got to be showing up in search, and we need to be running ads. Okay, it's like 4 legs to a table. That's what makes it stable. Now the problem is that when people hear about these things, it can be freaking overwhelming. Right? It can be extremely overwhelming because a lot of these things, there's just so much to learn that folks find it just downright scary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you now to my funnel and web presence and what my solution was. And when folks come to me, here's what I like to build out. Now, I customize it for individual loan officers, but for most folks, what I found is if you have these 4 legs to your table and apply this to your web presence and your lead generation, you are going to have one hell of a business, okay? And I'm going to explain why, because a lot of people, when they see FSBO on there, they wonder, you know, is that such a big source of business that's worth being one of the 4 legs of your marketing table? Okay, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a moment, but I like to have FSBO. I like to be running ads. I pull business and referrals from realtors, and then I pull referrals from my closings. Okay, so let's look at that again. So I have business coming in from FSBOs. I have business coming in from running ads. I have business coming in from my realtor partners, and then I have business coming in from referrals of my clients. Okay, so every person closing, you want to be hitting them up for a referral. So when building out your marketing plan for 2017, guys, you need it to be strategic to the point that it's self-feeding. And I'm going to show you how this particular plan actually feeds itself once you get it going, so that I'm never really working only on one aspect of my business. If I give attention to one, it benefits all of them. Okay? Excellent. So let me double check my screen here. All right, so Aaron, awesome. So Aaron said 60% of his business is coming from FSBOs. Well, you know what? I might need to share the screen and send the screen over to Aaron here, and he'll show us because he's absolutely killing it over there. So congratulations, Aaron. Glad you're joining us here today. Absolutely awesome. Okay, so oops, give me 1 second here, guys. My stupid slides and just kind of accelerated. There we go. Let me get back to where I was. Boom, there we are. Okay. Okay, so you should be seeing content and bait, a bird's eye view. All right, so let's just expand a little bit on what I just showed you. So FSBOs, I worked with FSBOs by offering them a marketing solution. Okay. So most for sale by owners are they're way overwhelmed with so many agents trying to hit them up for business. It's much easier for a loan officer to talk to a for sale by owner than it is for a realtor. And as somebody who sold his last 4 houses for sale by owner and who just put a house on the market for sale by owner, and I'm on about, I don't know, email number 39 and voicemail number 50 from agents telling me why I'm going to fail and why I need a list with them. And then they do their little fake show ups and, hey, I'm just looking at your house for a potential buyer. You know, they wanted me to come out and look at it. Oh, by the way, let me tell you all about me. Yeah, it doesn't work. So loan officers marketing to FSBOs have much better luck. All right, now I'm going to talk to you about how to some of the really cool strategies for FSBOs. Realtors, I'm going to share the leads I have coming in from for sale by owners because by providing them with a marketing solution, I give the FSBOs tools that fill my funnel as well. Every person that inquires about that for sale by owner property, I'm going to get that lead too. So not only do I have buyers coming into my funnel that I'm going to share with my realtors, but as we know, a good chunk of for sale by owners fail to sell. And when they fail to sell, they need to list with the realtor. So now I have listing leads for my realtors as well. So remember I said self-feeding. So I use the FSBOs as a means of bait to put out there and use those properties as bait to attract buyers. Those buyers identify themselves, and when they identify themselves to the FSBO to look at their property, they identify themselves to me as well because the FSBO is using my marketing solutions. I share the buyer's leads with the buyer's agents I'm working with, and then the FSBOs that end up listing, I share them, obviously, with the realtors looking for more listings. So that part's self-feeding. So another part of my funnel is my ads. When I'm running my ads, I'm targeting home buyers. I'm leveraging existing homes. Okay, so I'm running pay-per-click on Facebook, Facebook ads, and some other platforms out there. And then finally, with my referrals, when something closes, guys, every single person should be asked for a referral or at least a testimonial. If they're happy with your work, either can you provide me with a referral or a testimonial, because those testimonials will also get me more closings and referrals as well. I want as many people out there saying what a great experience that they had, so I can leverage those too. Make sense? All right, there you go, Aaron. Absolutely. So check this out, guys. This is just the bird's eye view still. Let me show you something. This is the part where we're going to start blowing minds here within the next couple of minutes. So if any of you guys have other screens open, close them out, and I want you to pay close attention to what I'm about to show you, because this is the cool stuff. All right? Okay. Now, web presence, lead portal, running ads, leveraging properties, all that fun stuff. I like to consolidate all of that down into what I like to call a hyper-localized portal. How many of you guys are familiar with Zillow, Trulia, or Realtor.com? How many of you guys? Everybody knows what they are, right? Because we already know that the overwhelming majority of all property searches that take place on the internet, and we already know that well over 90% of all people buying a home start their search on the internet. Where are they ending up at? Zillow, Trulia, and Realtor.com. They've cornered the market. So instead of battling that, and instead of fighting that, and instead of letting the realtors control the leads, because historically that's why loan officers bang down realtors' doors instead of realtors banging down your doors. Why? Because the realtors control the leads. Why? Because they're capturing the leads first. Why? Because people shop for their homes first before talking to their loan officers. Why? Because it's fun. And our product is boring in comparison. So they do it backwards. They find the home first, then they rush out and find their loan officer when they realize, hey, nobody's going to accept my offer or take me serious if I don't have a letter from a lender. And that means that we have to chase down the realtors because they are the gatekeeper to the lead. So finally, a very dim bulb brightened in my head, and I said, you know what? This is stupid. Why don't we just turn the table, and why don't we become the gatekeepers to the leads? And now we don't need to be banging down their doors. Let them come to us when they realize that I have way more leads than they do. And now I'm the one in the position of power to tell the people, hey, you should use this realtor or you should use that realtor. Wouldn't that be a nice breath of fresh air if you could turn the tables? So that's what we did was I took the portals, the lead portals I've been building for realtors and started building them for loan officers. Same darn thing, guys. Go look at Realtor.com, go look at Zillow.com, go look at Trulia.com, and imagine having one of those built specifically for your local market. Okay? Hyper-localized. Very easy. Pulls in from an IDX or an MLS. That's very easy to get a hold of as well. All you need is a realtor partner that's willing to give you their MLS ID to use a IDX. Boom. Say, hey, you know what? In exchange, I'm going to share leads with you every week because I'm going to have tons of leads coming in because I know what I'm doing. But that's not it. Just filling up a site with a bunch of properties is going to get you exactly nothing. That's just the base functionality of the website. Because once I have the properties coming in, now I fill that portal with everything from quizzes to hyper engaging content, articles, lead magnets, advertorials, exit pops, and all of these things that get people to take action. Remember when I said that a good marketing strategy is targets based off of behavior, identifies their behavior to allow them to self-qualify? Well, it's these things that engage with people while they're browsing around and looking at their homes for sale. While they're browsing around, they're coming across all my hyper-engaging content. If you want to see how to do it right, go to Realtor.com and look at their articles. It's filled with all sorts of articles that you just can't help but click on and go, man, that's kind of interesting. Oh, what? Wow, that's neat. Let me click on this. And based on what the people are clicking on, I can see who's interested in what. Okay? So the very second somebody lands on my lead portal, guess what happens? I drop my tracking cookies. Now, no, I'm not just talking about Facebook tracking cookies. I mean your autoresponder tracking cookies too. Why do you need 2 tracking cookies? Guys, why do you need 2 tracking cookies? Everybody care to take a guess? Why do I want 2 tracking cookies on my site? Why is Facebook not enough? It's because, and I was actually going to mail you anybody who got an answer right on that one, a chocolate chip cookie. Yeah. All right, so the answer is because Facebook shows you basically what they clicked on, right? And then puts them in an audience where I can run ads to them. But if you're using an autoresponder tracking cookie, I can track all of their behavior from point of entry to every single page they click on, how long they spent on it, what they did while they were there, and trigger other marketing opportunities to take place from my autoresponder. So let's say for example, somebody ends up on my site and they click on an article. And I think maybe they're looking to buy a home, but let's say they start clicking on a bunch of refinance articles. Well, if my tracking cookie for my autoresponder is tracking them, my autoresponder is smart enough to say, hey, the last 4 articles that they read on your site was about refinance. So even though they originally clicked on a purchase-based website, the fact that they're reading a bunch of refinance articles, what should that tell me? Should I just keep throwing a bunch of purchase stuff at them? Heck no. It's going to trigger an action to where, boom, now they're getting articles about refinance. Boom. Now I can run Facebook ads to them on refinance as well because I know what happened when they were on my site. So it's that self-qualifying behavior that is the key between those people who are irritated and frustrated with low-quality leads and the people going, man, I don't know how I'm going to deal with all these leads and all these closings and all this stuff taking place in my pipeline right now. It's that formula. We got to have a formula so that everybody experiences the highest level and most targeted form of marketing. Okay, so one of the really cool things that we've been doing this year is I actually have a cookie now that identifies when somebody tries to go to Realtor.com, Trulia.com, or Zillow.com. Even if they've never been to my website, and I don't even know who they are yet, doesn't matter. I have a cookie that tells me when somebody's about to go to Realtor.com, Trulia, or Zillow, and it intercepts them and shows them my site first. Shows them a nice landing page that says, hey, wait a minute, did you know that only 80% of all homes for sale are actually listed on Trulia and Zillow? You could be missing out on your dream home, 20% of the homes you haven't even seen yet. Why not view all of the homes on the market by clicking here? And it gets them to my site instead. Because, hey, if somebody's going to Trulia or Zillow or Realtor.com, then they're a great prospect for me, right? And we know that Trulia and Zillow, they're pulling from XML feeds. They're pulling from those types of feeds. So they're not getting real time. That's why they're not getting every single property on the market. But if you're tapping into a true IDX MLS, then you got the up-to-date, the most up-to-date information and the most complete information in comparison, right? So I'm capturing a lot of leads very, very quickly based off of this. All right, so so I get a couple people here asking about what are tracking cookies. So a tracking cookie is basically just a little piece of code that when somebody goes to a website and tells you basically what that person did. For example, let's say if you go to Amazon.com and you start shopping for a particular product, and suddenly the very next day or even later that day, you start seeing ads for that product all over the web. That's because you activated a tracking cookie. Amazon has a tracking cookie on those products, and they know, hey, you were just shopping for these items, so that means you're probably interested in purchasing those items, and since you haven't, I'm going to show you ads for similar products and items. That's what a tracking cookie is. So it's identifying somebody's behavior and allowing you to market and adjust your marketing automatically as a result. Okay? So let's do something better here. I'm going to do one better here. Let me give you guys a visual of what this funnel actually looks like, okay? So this is the really fun stuff, and this is the stuff that makes me so freaking excited. So right here, what do you see? Right up here at the top. Oh, let me see, where'd my cursor's playing games with me. There we go, okay. So right here we got the house portal. Okay, so I'm tapping into and using the same thing that realtors use as leverage, the houses themselves. Okay, so that's really all I need to do. I'm just using that as my bait to put out there because I know based on people's behavior, that's how they shop. They go out there and they look for homes first. So I'm going to tap into that as well. And what I'm going to do is to get people to the site, because even the greatest website in the world is worth absolutely zero if I don't have traffic coming to it. So how do I get the traffic to the site? Well, number one is I'm going to run some ads on Facebook. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to run these ads. They're very, very simple ads, and we get a whole lot of traffic from them. And based off of that traffic, we're going to find a lot of individuals that are going to self-qualify themselves. Number two is my FSBO traffic. Now, remember, I'm targeting and working with FSBOs because I know that if I give them my marketing tools, then I'm going to identify who these people are. So I can direct these people to my site as well. I like to use Facebook groups for traffic as well, but I use it the right way, guys, not the dumb way. I'll talk about that in a little bit as well, because yes, you can actually get a huge amount of traffic from Facebook groups if you're doing it the smart way and the non-obtrusive and obnoxious way of just going in, hey, anybody needs a loan? No, that doesn't work. We need bait. We need lead magnets. I use the cookie triggering for individuals that are targeting and going to Trulia and Zillow and Realtor.com, and then organic traffic as well. Because here's the really cool thing, guys, is ranking a mortgage website can be very difficult because of the fact that you need content, right? You need a lot of content and you need a lot of social signals to rank on Google, Yahoo, Bing, and on those search engines if you want to get to the top of it. The easier way to rank is to have it what's called an authority website. And that's exactly what this is. A portal website filled with thousands of homes has a whole lot of content. And a lot of that content has your keywords, such as the name of the cities and the state and physical addresses and real estate related terms, and articles have mortgage related terms and whatnot. So ranking becomes, I hate to use the word, but it becomes very, very simple. It becomes very simple to rank for long tail keywords, which means you get a good, healthy portion of your traffic completely free without spending a single dime. People who are Googling and house hunting are going to keep running across your portal. And a lot of people ask me, well, how the heck are you going to outrank Realtor.com and Trulia on Zillow? Very easy, because my content is hyper-local. Those websites target on a national basis, so they don't have the hyper-local content that mine does. So when you start filling it with that hyperlocal content, it becomes much easier to rank, okay? All right. So make sense so far? So Mike, you had me at hyperlocalized portal. All right, so the very first thing that happens when somebody hits a portal, what do I want you to do, guys? If you're going to build your own lead portal, the first thing I want you to do is make sure that anytime somebody hits your site, that a tracking cookie is launched. And I want you to have 2 tracking cookies, one from Facebook and one from it could be your CRM or it could be your autoresponder. Because I know a lot of the CRMs out there have built-in autoresponders. So I don't care which one you're using, just make sure that you have a tracking cookie that's being activated so you can track these people's behaviors. Okay? So once my tracking cookie is triggered, now I come to my very first option here. So this is my option in my funnel. I call them options. And it means, okay, based off of their behaviors, I can either do this or I can do that. So my question is this: did I capture a lead? Well, with 75 to 80% of the people who come to your website aren't going to give you their information. So 75 to 80% of the time, the answer to that's going to be no, which brings me over to here. So my funnel says, okay, if a lead's not captured, then here's what's going to happen is boom. The fact that they were on a house hunting portal looking for homes, they're going to see ads now for the next 60 to 90 days or more, where I'm going to retarget them by showing them ads about homes for sale, other homes for sale. Because heck, I own the portal now. So I can use these homes as bait. So maybe the reason they didn't give me their information was because they didn't find the house they were looking for. We know new homes hit the market every freaking day, every single week, every single month. I'm not going to annoy them. I'm not going to Facebook stalk them. I'm just going to click a button and tell my system to show them every couple of days, show them a new home when they're on their Facebook account. They're going to see them kind of as they're scrolling through their news feed, through their home page, they're going to see some other options. And my hope here is that they're going to see something that, oh, wow, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I like that. Oh, it's a ranch. Oh, 3,900 square feet. Yes, perfect. They're going to click on it and they're going to come back. What am I doing here? I'm training them to remember my site. The more they click and go back to my site, to my portal, the more likely they are to go there instead of Trulia or Zillow or Realtor.com. I'm training them to use my site, and while they're there, they're seeing all sorts of ads for different financing options, boom, boom, boom. I can slip in my ads, since again, I own the website. I could slip my articles, my how-to, my quizzes, things to engage them and get them to eventually come to me as their financing source. Because I got a whole bunch of home buyers. Very few of them paying cash. Overwhelming majority of them are going to need loans. Why not me? Well, if I'm capturing them even before the realtor has, I'm the gatekeeper now. Okay, so when I retarget them, a lot of people do retargeting wrong, guys. Don't retarget somebody, make them feel like you're stalking them. Yo, hey, saw you left my site. You really should have done this or that. You can only do that so many times before people go, man, you're creepy. But if instead I'm showing you stuff that you want, and that's the key of 2016, 2017, guys, is give people what they want. Don't overwhelm them. Just give them what they want. Well, what do they want? They were at the site hunting for homes, so why not show them more homes? We overcomplicate our retargeting by racking our brains going, what should I show them? What should I send them? Simple, more homes, because that's what they were looking for. Okay? So if that doesn't work, within, I don't know, I give it a couple weeks, then I start sprinkling in some articles, some house hunting articles. So again, I'm trying to give them what they want. If they're house hunting, then maybe they might appreciate some tips on some little known things about house hunting. For example, the top 5 things that you overlook and end up spending thousands of dollars on by buying the wrong house, or this or that, or the biggest unknown expenses and unexpected expenses after buying a new home. And watch out for these 3 things when picking out your real estate agent, or you might be sorry later. I mean, it could be anything, guys, but make it related. Make it relevant. So articles and content. I like to do quizzes. Quizzes are really nice, guys, because people like to do quizzes, especially if they think it's going to tell them something about themselves. So answer these 10 questions to find out the the perfect home for you, or what type of home you should be buying. Or what area, what city, in such and such county is the right city for you and your lifestyle. Answer these 5 questions on this quiz. There's so many different ways to do it. But bottom line is people like finding out things about themselves. That's their favorite topic. So when they're putting in their answers to these quizzes, guess where those answers are going? Boom, right into my tracking system. So now I get these notifications, oh, you had 9 people fill out quizzes this week. Okay, great. I'm scrolling through their answers and figuring out who's a good lead and who's not. It tells me a lot about these people. And most importantly, it's engaged them and got them to spend time on my site, which also self-feeds, boom, over here with Google. Google decides how to rank. One of the big ranking parameters, guys, within the past year has been how long people spend on your website. Google cares about that because the longer people spend on your website, then obviously the better your content is. So again, everything that, whenever I improve even just one little small thing over here, I'm also improving things over here and over here and over here. Self-feeding. So this is one side to my funnel is, hey, if I don't capture a lead, then this is what they're going to see. However, let's say that they do fill out and they give me their name, their email, their phone number, tell me what they're looking for. Okay, this is the part where a lot of loan officers drop the ball, where we were talking about low quality leads. What do you think? What do you think happens here, guys? When we're talking about low quality leads, what do you think is happening? Well, it's because a lot of loan officers aren't sure exactly how to follow up. They'll send out an email, and then if they have a phone number, they'll call it maybe once, maybe twice, maybe even 3 times. Statistically speaking, over 70% of salespeople only follow up once and they're done. And that's scary. But for those of you that do follow up, how many times do you follow up before you give up? Or let's say you only have an email address and you didn't even get a phone number. How many times do you follow up there before you give up? And the question becomes, would you have followed up more if you knew what to send and if it wasn't taking up any of your time? Because the biggest problem isn't that loan officers are lazy, it's that they have other things to do. And when somebody's not responding to your follow-up, the natural course of logic tells us, hey, I could be doing other things. This person obviously isn't that hot on hearing from me, so you know what? I'm going to go do other things with my time. It makes sense. Unfortunately, it's not exactly a best course of action. Logically, it sounds like it, but if you had a better way, you could convert a huge chunk of your leads that otherwise would have slipped through the cracks. And so here's what I do. So when a lead is captured, to me, it doesn't matter whether I have their email or just their phone number, but in 2017, guys, even actually starting right now, you know what you really should be doing? Get people's cell phone numbers. If you want to get a high percentage of follow-up, people respond much quicker and much better to texting. If they gave you their information and requested something from you, so therefore they're expecting your follow-up, there's nothing wrong with sending them a text. And what I found is I get between 300 and 400% more responses when I text back to them instead of just sending an email. Because everybody's walking around with their cell phone anyways. So what I do is when somebody fills out a form and I capture a lead, the very first thing that happens is my autoresponder is triggered and it sends out an instant email. So that's number 1. Number 2 is that same autoresponder has texting SMS capabilities, okay? So autoresponder SMS capabilities. So that means it will automatically text them, not instantly, because that sounds like you're kind of a creepy stalker. You know, if I go to a website and then 10, 15 seconds later, I already have a text from somebody, it sounds like, if they're not familiar with what an autoresponder is, then it gives a mental image of some desperate person's just sitting there, just watching their cell phone, hoping somebody contacts them. And boom, 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 hurries up and taps out a text follow-up. Not a good image. So I put it on a timer, and my text goes out, I give them about 10 minutes. So my text is an automated system, tells them thank you very much, blah, blah, blah. And guys, again, if you have a CRM or if you have an autoresponder most of you have systems that already have that capability. You don't even need to go out and buy something new to make your system do that. It just depends on what you're using. If you don't have an autoresponder and you don't have a CRM, okay, then you're going to need to go get something. But for most of you, you don't even need to buy anything new to get this functionality. Now, this third piece of the puzzle, you do need to buy something, but it would cost you probably about, I don't know, $6 or $7 a month to run it. It's just, I like using voice drops. And there's a lot of companies out there that provide that technology. So voice drops are just simply this, guys. You do a voice recording and you tell the system how to trigger it. So when somebody does this, send them that. And boom, it bypasses. It doesn't ring their phone. It instead bypasses ringing and goes straight to the voicemail and leaves them a voicemail, your voice. Hey, this is Chad Weber. Thank you so much for visiting my site, besthomesinstlouis.com. I saw you requested some information on such and such, and I'm just leaving you a quick message to make sure you got the report you requested, find out if you had any questions, and oh, by the way, you know, this week I have a home buying course for first-time home buyers, where we're going to teach this, and that, you know, blah, blah, blah. If you can't make it, here's how you can access it online. So I just basically leave them a voicemail. And to them, it looks like I tried to call them, and they didn't pick up, so I left them a voicemail. So, but it's less intimidating. That's why I do it, and it's instantaneous. And again, I leave that on a timer too, so I'm not texting and voicing them at the same time. I'll usually have the voice scheduled for later that evening or even the following day, because between the email and the text, you know, if I hit them up 3 times in one day, it might seem a little desperate and creepy. I don't want to creep people out, and I'm sure you don't either. That's not good. Not good for our marketing conversion. All right. So 3 points of contact between email, texting, and voice. I'm going to get a whole lot more people than if I was just emailing or if I just called a few times and gave up. And the fact that these are all done by automated systems, it takes up exactly 0 of my time. So I could tell the system to wait a couple more days, and if I still don't hear from them, then another email might go out or another text. And I'll have this thing basically scheduled for about 10 to 14 days of follow-up. And if I still can't reach them after 10 to 14 days, then I go into article drip mode, okay? So this is the final piece of the puzzle, is now I'll start dripping them, either retargeting homes, articles, quizzes, and whatever the case may be. I'm basically going to send them this type of content because obviously something happened to where they did initially take action, but something put them into standby mode, and I need to find out what that is. See, a lot of loan officers say, okay, if you're not responding, then that means you're a crappy-ass lead, have no use for you, goodbye. Except that's terrible. That's terrible because people don't stop responding just because they're bad leads. No, oftentimes it's because something happened, or maybe the timing was off, or maybe they were just dipping their toe in the water and they're about to buy a home, but you know it's still 60 days away or whatever. If we just leave them alone, they're going to end up in somebody else's pipeline, as opposed to if I just drip more houses, more articles, more quizzes, more things to engage them and get them back to my portal. I can get the lead back onto my site again and be in the right place at the right time when they decide to do the loan. You see how that works? Make sense? All right, good deal. Okay, so that I know is pretty darn intense, and a lot of people. What are your thoughts on that, guys? Does this make sense from what I've just shown you here? Does that make sense? Do you see how that results in more business? Let me get your feedback here. Okay, so I'm getting some feedback. All right, there we go. Absolutely. You got it. Perfect. All right, so there's some more booms. All right, so 1, 2, 3. All right, so I got about 15, 16 booms there, one after another. All right, so here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to go live to the web here in just a moment because I'm going to show you guys a couple of things. Because I do see a lot of questions coming over. Okay, you know, well, what kind of ads are you running and this and that? All right, well, here, how about I just show you? All right, so let me go to my Facebook page here. All right. Now, all of you guys know how to use Facebook ads. Anybody here that's never used a Facebook ad before by any chance? Anybody? I'm opening up mine. Okay, so I got a couple folks say, hey, I've not used Facebook ads. Okay, so okay, it's been a while. Okay, so that's perfectly fine, guys. Nothing wrong with that. But we're gonna change that. All right. I'm gonna show you guys how to run ads. I'm gonna show you a free method too. Okay, I'm gonna show you both. So this is what the Facebook ads platform looks like when you first open it up. Now the way you get to it, guys, is right up here at the top right of your screen. You got this little downward facing arrow. When I click there to drop down, then boom, I have that opportunity to just click to manage ads or create ads. I click to create ads to get to this page. So again, you just click the little downward facing arrow, select the create ads option, and boom, you should come to this page. Now, if you've never run a Facebook ad before, then first it's going to have some questions for you. You're just going to fill out a couple things to upload your credit card and things so that you can actually, they can charge you for when you're running your ads. But if you have done it before, you should see a page either identical to this or very similar. If you see a slightly different page, guys, don't freak out. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. Keep in mind that Facebook has slightly different variations of their dashboard depending on what part of the country you're from. Okay, because they roll out their updates. They don't do it all simultaneously across the country. And they're constantly testing and beta testing little tweaks, and they'll usually test them in just certain cities as opposed to universally at the same time. So don't freak out if you see something slightly different. All right, so when I'm looking at my ads, guys, check this out. I have the opportunity this is basically traffic, is if I want to drive people, get them to click and end up on my lead portal. Okay, so this is the most basic type of ad that you could run. Now you have other things like engagements, video views, if I want to upload videos, and videos are pretty awesome right now too, by the way. Lead generation, these are the Facebook lead ads product, where if I don't have a landing page, I could still run an ad and capture their data straight from Facebook. You don't even need a page, and they don't even leave Facebook. Facebook pulls their data from their Facebook account, so you know you're getting accurate information. This is great and everything, but it's a little more complicated on how to get it set up, so I'm not going to go through this today in the name of saving time. So we're just going to look at traffic. So I'm going to click on the traffic option. All right, so what do I want to name this? So let's call this lead portal. Boom, let's open that up. All right, so do I want to drive my traffic to a website or to an app? Now, as of right now, I'm just going to send them to my website. Now, I'm going to show you some of the things that have changed here on Facebook recently. So the first thing that I want to do is my location-based targeting. Let's say that I want to do St. Louis. So I just type out St. Louis in here. I'm going to limit that to I could do a 25-mile radius, or I can expand that a little bit. I'm going to expand that out to about 35, about 35 miles. So close to it. So over here on the right, I could see that I have a potential target range of 1.7 million people, because I did St. Louis plus a 34-mile radius. However, what I don't like is my age bracket here. Now, in the past, guys, I used to tell you to do about 26 and up, but as of now, I'm actually doing 30 plus in most cases. In some cases, I'll even do 32 to 34 plus, because in the past 6 to 8 months, I've just seen more and more of a trend where I get much better clicks, much better quality leads when I target over 30. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that's universal across the board, but you know what? I do advertise in a lot of the U.S., and I generally see my best results kind of in that range. So I typically now do, very rarely do I do over the upper 40s or lower 50s. And if I do, I'll do a specific ad just for that group. I'm not going to intermingle those groups anymore. All right, and I also tend to target one gender at a time. So I'll clone my ad. I'll do 2 versions of my ad, one targeting men and one targeting women, because I want to break them up and see which I'm going to get a better reaction from. And that allows me to do some better targeting, okay? So, but just for the sake of keeping it simple on this one, I'm just going to do all for the moment. Okay, now when I'm targeting within my parameters here, what I like to do is income. I mean, unless I'm doing a first-time home buyer, but in most cases, if I'm really worried about the quality of my lead, I really don't want to be targeting people with less than $50,000 a year income if I'm trying to keep my loan volume up, okay? Or I'm sorry, my loan amount. And as you guys well know, I am a big fan of excluding your competition. So always make sure that you come in here and block other loan officers from seeing your stuff. Now, we don't do that by clicking loan officer and then doing interest. If you do that, you're going to wipe out a bunch of your prospects. Those aren't the loan officers. The loan officers are the guys with the job title. See right here, loan officer, boom. But I don't just put one, I'm putting multiples in there. So I'm going to do mortgage loan officers as well. So, but again, I'm not looking for interest. I'm only looking for those that say job title. So right here, mortgage brokers, 26,000, mortgage bankers, 7,900, mortgage specialist. Do this with realtors as well. So I'll typically put about 8 to 10 different variations of the mortgage, loan officer, title, and I'll do the same thing with realtor, because realtors are also really big on clicking on your ads, not because they're interested in getting a loan from you, they're just curious. Oh, I wonder if he's getting any leads off of this, right? So unless you want a bunch of realtors driving up your costs, there's realtor associate and whatnot, and I just kind of narrow it down here, guys. But again, make sure you click the exclude option. Right here, exclude people who match at least one of the following: loan officer, mortgage broker, realtor, realtor associate, real estate agent, real estate broker, licensed residential real estate agent. They call themselves all sorts of different things. So make sure you put the lot of it in there. Okay, so just kind of scroll down the list and get them. All right, awesome. So does that make sense so far? Why are we doing this again? Why are we excluding? Because we want to reduce our costs. We don't want a bunch of our competition and a bunch of looky-loos clicking on the ads costing you money. That's why we're doing it. Okay. So now I'm going to scroll down for my daily budget. This is saying the maximum I'm allowing Facebook to spend is $20 in a day. But I'm going to set my start and end date. Right. So I'm going to have this shut down on Sunday. Something else here, guys. I'm doing my optimizing for ad delivery, doing link clicks. You can do impressions if you like, but I almost always start off with my link clicks. All right. Okay, perfect. One other thing, guys, is I am not a big fan. Absolutely not. Let me scroll up here before we continue. Scroll to where it says placements. I'm not a big fan of the audience network. See, Facebook by default says automatic placements is recommended. Bull crap. No way. They're only doing that because they know they can charge you more if you run on more platforms. Take this audience network, at least for now, and uncheck that, because the quality of that traffic is crap. It's garbage. Okay, it's not even worth it. Now, maybe that might change, and I'm sure it will, because Facebook's getting better and better at their targeting. But for now, I've just not had good luck with it. And I haven't talked to a single person yet who has. And I talked to a lot of people about Facebook marketing, a lot of really powerful guys in that particular industry. And I'll tell you what, I've yet to hear good things about it. Now, I've heard that Facebook is working on it internally and that soon you'll have some really kick butt options. But for now, just uncheck it. And usually if I'm going to do Instagram, I'm going to do it as a separate ad. I'm not going to blend my Facebook ads and my Instagram ads, because I need to know which is performing better and have it separate, so that if one of them's underperforming, it's not driving up the cost for my other. Make sense? All right. So very simple. Even if you don't understand what I just said, as far as why you want to do this, just make sure that you do. Just uncheck the Instagram, uncheck the audience network, and leave it for Facebook. If you want to run Instagram ads, run them separately. Okay? So I'm ready to rock. So I'm going to continue. Now with your ads, you can do carousel, which is where there's a bunch of scrollable images, which is kind of cool. I like to test single image in carousel. And then from time to time, I'll do video ads, but just for keeping things simple, I'll almost always start off with a single image ad first. And I use the free stock images if I need to, but in this case, guys, if you're going to be driving them to actual properties on your lead portal, then you can actually upload some really cool pictures that, you know, are actually showing up in the system, right? But for now, I'm just going to do some free stock images. So I do house, I do home, I just find and I grab and upload about 6 options and see which one's going to get me the best results. Okay? All right. Now, what I like to do is I like to grab images that look like real listings. When you're trying to drive them to your portal, guys, make sure that you get the most likely. Okay, the ones that look like an actual listing. If you have to go out and buy an image that looks more like a listing, then by all means. But that's really where I'm getting the best results for the moment. Okay. So you go ahead and connect this to a Facebook page. Remember, you need to have it connected to a Facebook fan page, guys, if you're going to deploy these. All right. Canvas is a really kick butt option, but that's a lot more complicated, so we'll talk about that later. Here you put the link to where you want them to end up on your landing page, okay, on your lead portal. This is another really cool option for running ads directly to people's Facebook Messenger accounts. But again, that's a relatively new feature, so that's kind of a whole training in and of itself. This is what I'm looking for: my headline, my ad body text, and then my news feed link description. That's what's going to show up down here underneath the image. So this is where you actually build out the campaign. I want to connect to a Facebook page that sounds helpful and usable. So in this case, I would probably build out a Facebook business page that's basically the name of my portal. So, you know, best St. Louis homes or St. Louis homes for sale, you know, something along those lines. So that way the person, there's consistency between what they're seeing here and then the ad copy that they're seeing here. All right. So in this case, guys, you can actually talk up a particular property, get people to click. You know, it doesn't need to just be some broad brushstroke. Oh, hey, you know, great homes for sale. You click here to find homes for sale in the St. Louis area. No, I can put something very, very specific in here, specifically to a property. You know, hey, here's the top 5 deals, top 5 best home deals in St. Louis this week. Or these 5 homes just dropped their pricing and they got to sell by this weekend. Click here to find out more. You know, send them over to specific pages on your portal. Or we can also do similar to what I described earlier. Check this out. Wait a minute. St. Louis home buyers. So I could tell them to stop using specific portals or stop using those other Okay, I always use it to learn more, never to sign up or any of that crap. It just sounds too committal. And then I just kind of break things down a little bit more here in the news lead description, because what I type down here is what's going to show up here underneath my headline. So I'm going to just kind of rephrase this a little bit. I have more space here to type, okay? But you can see where I'm going with this. Basically what I want to do is I want to appeal to the individuals who are essentially shopping for homes right now. And the only way to really do that, guys, is you have to differentiate. So we have to point out the deficiencies, you know, the fact that they might be missing out on things, you know, there has to be an appeal. We can't just be another Me Too portal. Okay, so knowing that the top couple of search portals for homes don't even show all of the homes for sale because they're tapping into a syndication feed as opposed to pulling directly from MLS. Okay, so they don't get all of the homes, and then even when they do get some of those homes that they're missing through other sources, they get them much later. So those are the hot points that we want to drive home. Okay, can't say that enough. Those are the hot points that you got to drive home to get them there. The other option is to just grab some of the actual homes, some of the best deals, and drive traffic to those. Okay, makes sense? All right, so Chad, why would you not target the likely to move category? Tom, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. And let me reiterate that or expand on that a bit. You do have the likely to move category to target here in Facebook. You also have the first-time home buyers category to target. I always split test them because sometimes I actually get better results not targeting them, and I'll explain why. Is a lot of the data, the targeting filters within Facebook, some of it comes from Facebook and some of it is data that Facebook has purchased. When you use filters that Facebook has purchased, you're going to pay more because Facebook has to pay for that data as well, right? So whenever possible, I split test to see if I just cast a broader net but just use Facebook's data, if the lower cost per click and the lower cost per impression might still get me better and lower cost results. Okay, so I will always create 2 or even 3 versions of my ad. One, I'll target these parameters, the other I'll target those parameters, and the other I'll target the final parameters. And then I run them for an equal amount of time and find out which gets me the best results. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so does this, everything I've shown you so far, guys, make sense? All we're doing is setting up a basic ad, driving that traffic to the portal so that we can identify who the serious home shoppers are, because your tracking cookies will tell you how often they come to the site, what they're clicking on when they're at the site, how much time they've spent on the site, and now they're yours. Okay, that's your audience. Pretty boom, huh? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, there's another source of leads on Facebook that I've really found quite enjoyable, guys, and that is that you can run ads directly in Facebook groups. Okay, what kind of groups? All major cities now have buy and sell groups, guys, within Facebook. And a lot of those groups actually allow you to upload real estate. But here's the kicker, and here's why another great reason to target FSBOs. A lot of them have a requirement that you can only upload listings if you're not a realtor. Only if you're the FSBO, only if you're the owner of the property. So remember I told you that I like to host FSBO little training workshops. So here's what I do, is I will run ads on Facebook to target FSBOs, get them to my little mini workshop with the understanding that, hey, we're actually going to set up ads and help you actually start getting people to your property today, the very same day. It's a free workshop. It only takes 30 minutes. Show up and we'll help you set up your entire campaign, and you'll actually start getting more people inquiring about your property probably the same day. And we actually get a lot of FSBOs to these things because it's such a compelling message. We're not realtors. We're not real estate agents, so I'm not going to harass you to try to help you to hire me to list your property. Just come here. We'll get you all set up. Boom. So guess what I do? I give them a call capture line. I give them access to my texting software. And while they're here, I show them how to post their property to these groups. Think of it as the Craigslist of 2017. I'm getting much, much, much better results here than Craigslist. Okay, so you just go into your local buy-sell groups and boom, say, okay, log on to your Facebook profile, bring some pictures with you. Let's upload the pictures. Okay, put this phone number in there, put this text number in there, and within usually about 10 minutes to 15 minutes, the calls start coming in. People start inquiring about the property. People even start inquiring right there on the ad itself. And anybody that does inquire goes through my lead capture mechanisms. And that's all done through the buy-sell groups. On a typical week, getting about 15 to 20 leads, and it's not even costing me a single penny. Right? So Randy says, do you do the workshops in person? Sometimes, yes, and then sometimes I will try them on just teleseminars or webinars. Here's why I prefer to do them in person. I know you're going to get less people to show up, but you're going to get more committed people to show up. And check this out, I can make sure they actually do it because I'm there showing them how to do it. What I found is when you teach people to do stuff, 98% of them don't do it. Right? You can talk till you're blue in the face. Most people won't take action. They'll tell you how cool it is and how awesome it is, but they won't do it. And the same applies to the for sale by owner. So when they're at the workshop, you make sure that it's done because you're actually doing it with them. Done with you always works better than do it yourself, right? Because you're there. There's no intimidation factor as to, oh, I hope I'm not screwing this up. Make sense? So yeah, we're 15 to 20 leads a week. All right, so Aaron says what he likes to do is provide drone videos for his FSBOs, and that's how he's getting his responses. So you know, but Aaron's obviously a very good pilot, and I suck. So I'd be probably crashing my drone through their window, and they'd probably scream at me to leave. So I can't really use that call to action just yet. Maybe we'll all hire Aaron. Awesome, but good stuff, Aaron. Thanks for sharing. So does that make sense? So are you seeing how the funnel is self-feeding? I'm using the FSBOs to capture more listings for my realtors as well as buyers for my realtors, plus for my own pipeline. And that helps feed my portal. And my portal helps feed more leads and referrals for my agents. And the more I give to them, the more they give to me. And the more closings I get, the more people I can ask for testimonials and referrals. That's what I meant by self-feeding. It all comes together, right? So let me update my screen here. So this is what we were just talking about. Now, when I reach out to FSBOs, guys, sometimes I do Facebook ads, and sometimes I use the video cards. Everybody knows the video cards that we were doing a couple months ago, and yes, I still get them in. But we've had a big backlog because we did have a couple very, very, very large orders come in from some very large companies. And yeah, that took a lot of the manufacturing time, kind of pushed back a lot of it, waiting for them to fulfill those orders because I do have them made and then shipped first, okay? So, but yeah, basically I'm inviting them to a marketing workshop. It's free. I don't charge anything for the workshop. I provide them a free call capture number, a text capture number, or if you don't have either of those, you can even give them a Google Voice account, guys. That's free. Sometimes I'll give them free landing pages too to drive their traffic to, and you can even build those for free off of WordPress.com if you have to, if you're bootstrapping. So you don't even have to spend money on that. Paying for things like your call capture and text capture. Like I used callfire.com for quite a while. But there's a bunch of different programs out there, and with what I like about Callfire is it's only pay as you go, 5 cents. So I would spend about, I don't know, $7 to $10 for the whole month. Those are the only tools I needed. So I helped them personally post their properties to the Facebook groups. And in most cities, guys, if you just go to Facebook and do a search for buy-sell groups in your area for your city, you'll find about, I don't know, I found 28, all within about a 30-mile radius of my hometown. And some of those groups had 58 to 60,000 plus members. And within about 5 to 10 minutes of posting these properties, we generally have leads coming in, people inquiring. Say, oh, hey, yeah, I'm buying a house. You know, what's the address? I want to go see it. Oh, hey, can you text me this? Oh, can you send me information there? So 15 to 20 leads a week, buyer leads, no money spent outside of whatever you spend on your text or call capture system. Make sense? See how it's self-feeding again? Absolutely. Boom. All right. Okay, so another lead portal that I like to use, guys, is we set up a landing page doing property background checks. Think of it as it's like Carfax for your house. So think about the fact that you're buying a house and there's all sorts of things that could be hidden. You know, a lot of people will disclose the things that they think, you know what, if I don't disclose this, a home inspector is going to find it and I could get in trouble. But a lot of times if they think they can get away with not disclosing something, they won't. You hear about it all the time. Just do a search for the statistics on how many people end up dropping $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 on unexpected repairs on things that should have been disclosed, and now they're trying to sue the person that sold them the house. That's not fun for anybody. So it's real easy to run a ad for, hey, thinking about buying a home, enter the address here and get a complete background check. It's just like Carfax for your house. It's going to tell you everything about this house, any insurance claims, any fires, any floods, any this, any that. So they enter in their address. Now I know where they're thinking of, what home they're thinking of buying. But then they got to enter in their information also to have it sent to them, the complete report. So that's another portal that we've been using. And that's, you guys probably heard about that through my beta testing. And yeah, we've just been getting phenomenal results. So I can't show the exact URLs, guys, because when I've done that on past calls before I paid for it, I've had a lot of people try to go and copycat, even other people, even other trainers try to go and rip off my stuff, and I can't stand that crap. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you an example of just a sample report here of the type of information that we pull, and it's actually pretty phenomenal here. So let's see if I can get it going. Let me see if there we go. Okay, so we're scrolling through and taking a look at the portal and the data that's available. So there you saw all the different types of crimes in the neighborhood, different sexual offenders, everything that's been identified, drug labs, registered polluters, storage tanks, and things that might screw with the environmental friendliness of the area, earthquake risk, flood risk, tornado risk, hail risk, everything you could possibly, landslides, wildfires, there's the tornadoes again, sinkholes, pulling up school data, reported fire incidents. It actually has all the data, how long it took to respond to the fire, how much damage was done, anybody hurt. Okay, we even have the property owner's details. I mean, we have all that background. We have foreclosures in the area, comparable home sales, fire stations, police stations, hospitals, libraries, unemployment rates, median cost of living, household income, population, workforce breakdown, education, marital status, housing. I mean, everything, guys. I mean, we know everything. We're pulling about 56 fields of data here just on the basics. Okay, so that is a complete report there. And it's completely free to them, capturing a whole lot of leads off of that portal too. So I'm showing you this because I want you to start getting creative, start thinking different. Start thinking different than what everybody else is doing. How many times do you see people go, well, I don't know what to be doing, so I'm just going to look and see what other people are doing, and well, since so many people are doing it, it must be working. How often is that actually the case? We know the 80-20 rule applies, right? 80% of people are not getting the results that they want. So when we're copying that 80%, we're getting the lowest level of results. But by doing something different, you stand out. So a couple of things, guys, for your follow-up. If you're using similar strategies or whatever lead portal you decide to make for yourself, make sure that you start collecting mobile numbers these days. That's another big change for 2017 I want you to make, is don't just ask for emails. Ask for mobile numbers and give people incentives for giving it to you. You know, hey, for the quickest turnaround and the quickest amount of information, put your cell in. Or text to this number. Give them a reason. Okay, 300 to 400% higher response rate to texting. Use the voice drops to bypass phone ringing and leave a message directly for them. It's automated, doesn't take up any of your time, and now you can stagger it so that way you have good 10, 14-day follow-up periods where you're going to find that about 25 to 30% more of the people respond to you, because a lot of times people aren't responding not because they're jerks, not because they want to waste your time, but because they're busy and they have every intention. You know, maybe they got your email. Maybe they're at work when they check their email and got, oh yeah, I'll respond to them when I get home. But then they get home and their kids come home. Life gets in the way. But if you have an automated system that's following up and following up and following up, but doing it in a respectful and a proactive manner, you're going to find that you get about 30% more leads that actually follow up with you, that actually respond to your follow-up. So I like 3 layers. Follow-up email is instantly triggered, so the initial email goes instantly. Then the voice drop or the text, and then the text. So sometimes I kind of invert them depending on what lead funnel I'm implementing at the time. So sometimes it's the voice drop first, other times it's the text first. But I always put them on a 10 to 15 minute timer so it doesn't sound like I'm some loser with no business, because that's not a good mental image. You know, you want them to know that, hey, you're successful, you're in demand, not sound like you're just hovering in front of your phone sweating, hoping that they pick up. And then I'll stagger for another email the next day. Then I'll give it about a 2 to 3 day increment to where something will go out, either a text or an email or a voice drop. All right? And if they still don't respond by that 10 to 14 day mark, that's when I just go ahead and kick out my ads back into Facebook or whatever tracking cookie I'm using at the time. Okay? So they'll start seeing my ads again for other properties and whatnot. So make sense? And a lot of the systems that you're using now, guys, can do this. Okay, you don't really need to go out and buy something new unless you just don't have an autoresponder or CRM that has behavior-based targeting and timers on it. Okay, so basically though, when you're at this point with your lead portal or with your lead funnel, the last 2 pieces of your marketing are easy. They almost take care of themselves, because really your big goal is, hey, I want more referrals. A lot of you guys, let me go back and scroll up here and see how many of you guys said you wanted more business from realtors. And go ahead and identify your guys. How many of you guys said that you wanted more business in order to double your business in 2017? You needed more realtors, you needed more referrals, and all that fun stuff. How many of you guys said that? So I'm scrolling up here, and a whole bunch of you guys said that. Okay, yeah, here we go. So if you have leads to give to them, and they're good quality leads, do you think they're going to say no to doing business with you? Because what do they care about? They care about their pocketbook. They care about, they're in business to make money. Working with loan officers that aren't sharing leads with them, that aren't earning their keep, well, it's pretty easy to uproot them when you're the loan officer coming in going, hey, you know what? Yeah, I run besthomesinstllouis.com, and I'm getting about 8,000 hits a month from buyers, and I'm getting a bunch of listing leads as well from my FSBO marketing. Here, you know what? I got a couple leads for you right now, people who don't have an agent. I'll have some more for you next week. Can we sit down and chat about how to make this mutually beneficial? Because I can keep you busy, but I need to make sure that it's a two-way street. Is your existing loan officer, is he giving you all these leads too? So I'll tell you right now, 99.99% of the time they're going to say no. Most of them are shocked when they get a lead from a loan officer, much less a loan officer that can give them leads every single week. So getting those referrals is easy, but be picky, guys. Don't just work with any agent. Go find the agents doing a minimum of 20 deals a year. That's what I like to do. I mean, sometimes I'll work with agents doing less, but you know what? If you're going to put forth the effort, make sure that somebody that actually has business to give you. Heck, you can even go after the high producers doing 30, 40, 50 plus a year. All right? Make sense? Awesome. So yeah, don't undersell yourself. Don't undersell yourself. Once you have this under control, the rest just takes care of itself. And as you close more business, guys, that's more people to ask for referrals from. You're going to have an awesome 2017, it sounds like. Absolutely. So, guys, basically at this point, it's time for you to make a decision. What are you going to do? What lead portal do you want to build for yourself? What type of a plan do you want to implement for 2017? What are you going to use as your lead bait? Okay. So I've given you a lot to think about. I've shown you the strategies. I've even shown you the mind map, showing you each stage, each step. If you want to go and create one for yourself, you're more than welcome to do it, guys. You're more than welcome to go out and do it. If you want to work with me, here's my email, guys. See, I have a goal for myself, and I have my own plan for 2017. And right here, here's my plan. I'll show it to you. Here's my goal. My goal for 2017, already have it all written out and already have it all planned out. So my goal is I want to help 100 loan officers add 6 figures to their business in 2017. And that is a very hard goal. And what I mean by hard goal is it's written down. It's set in stone for me. This is something that I will reach this goal. For me, it's not an option. I want to change 100 lives to not just, hey, I helped you get an extra, 1 or 2 closings. No, I want to help people add 6 figures to their business each in 2017. So if you want to be one of the 100 guys, here's the criteria. You saw my email address. You got to email me. That's rule number 1. But you must be willing to invest in yourself. Okay, it's not cheap to set something like this up. If you want to set up one of the lead portals, as I described, we will be doing that in 2017. It's not cheap. Okay, so folks that are on a very tight budget, probably not for you. Okay, you got to be willing to invest in yourself. You got to be willing to invest in your ads. You must be willing to build assets. These are hard assets. Once they're built, these are things that are going to drive you business every single day, all year, all next year, and it gets better and better. That's the thing, is tools like this get better as they age, not worse, because your rankings with Google and the search engines get better. You get more content on it. When we build these portals, we fill them with hyperlocal content and engaging content and quizzes, and we build all of these things that are difficult and can be very confusing. The technology aspect, we build it all with you. Okay, but you must also be able to follow and implement those instructions. Okay, we'll do all the heavy lifting for the building stuff, but from your marketing perspective, I can only work with folks who are actually going to go out and do what needs to be done. So if you feel that you struggle with that, this is probably not for you. Okay, so the first test is who's going to email me. That's test number one, because that's instruction number one, is you got to email me first. Here, let me get you my email. There it is, right there, the top of the page, cweber@averagejoelo.com. And there I am. Do you want to work with this guy? So I put so much thought into my lead generation funnels and conversion that my brain got overheated and burnt the hair right off my head. So if you don't mind working with a bald dude, I'm happy to work with you. But first we got to chat, and that's what the email's for. All right? So that email is, just go ahead and email me, and here's what I want you to do. Tell me a little bit about where you're at in your business, what your goals are, because it's not a good fit for everyone. I don't work with everyone. You guys know that by now, I'm sure. But we got to chat first and see what your goals are and if they align well. Exactly. Aaron, who doesn't know your email by now? Exactly. Yeah, it's been out there. This is an old email. I've had this email since, 2004, 2003, when I first started training loan officers. So I've been doing it a very long time, guys. So we know what works. And I'd be happy to chat with you about a lead portal, or if there's another way we can work together in a different capacity, depending on what your goals are. Maybe your goal isn't to build a lead portal. Maybe you just need help running ads and whatnot. But right now I'm starting the process for me to help 100 people add 6 figures to their bottom line in 2017. I have to get started now with selecting those 100, and that's my whole point. So just email me, cweber@averagejoelo.com, and tell me where you're at in your business, what your goals are, what your challenges are, and be honest, guys. Be as open and honest as possible, because the more I know about your situation and what your real challenges are, then the better we can ascertain if this is a right fit for you. If you feel like investing, this is, if you want a lead portal, guys, you got to be ready to spend more than 1,000, more than 2,000, maybe even more than 3,000 or 4,000, depending on how big of a portal you want. It's not cheap, but it's profitable. It's an awesome investment. It's an investment that can pay you back 6 figures. Okay, I can't guarantee you exactly 6 figures. I can just tell you that's my goal. All right. So cweber@averagejoelo.com. Go ahead and email me. And guys, also, if you have questions about what we talked about here today, now's the time to ask me too, because I see a ton of questions that come over, and I tried to answer a good portion of them as we're going along. Maybe I shot myself in the foot. I got so many booms here. I'm having trouble getting to all the questions. All right. Okay, perfect. So I'm seeing a lot of good questions here. Okay, so, all right. How quick do the portals get launched? Okay, so yeah, that's a great question. Depending on how quickly we get you going, the portals, I mean, I'm rolling them out to the US in February 2017, but for the early birds, now I don't have a lot of openings for the early birds. We've already filled most of them. Okay, so I believe at last check, I only had 2 or 3 openings for the November slots of the portals. Okay, so if I can't get you in November, guys, please don't be angry with me. It's just, again, we have limited availability for those portals just because we already had commitments for portals for the beta testing and whatnot. Okay, so I can't push those guys to the side, for the new folks coming in the door. But you should have your portal ready to rock and roll by January in that case, and then we do the big rollout to everyone in February. But we're doing an extreme limit as to how many portals we're putting out there. As you know, with all of my programs, I tend to close the doors between 500 once we get to about 500 users nationwide. And that's because these things work well when they're unique. When everybody and their brother's got one, well, that's when it waters down the effectiveness. So that's why I put extreme limitations on how many we will do. Okay, so if you don't make it in time, again, please don't be upset with me. It's just, again, we're trying to keep the integrity of the program, keep it working extremely well. And there's nothing stopping you from going out and building your own. Okay, just make sure you have a great copywriter, a great content writer, and a great programmer. Okay, awesome. Okay, so yep, let's roll. Absolutely. Perfect. Okay, and do we preload? Yes, yes, we do preload with the content. You don't have to write the content, guys. When we're setting up your portal, we already have great engaging content, how-to lists, how to do this, how to do that, quizzes. We also have some really cool things such as exit pops. And have you guys seen those websites where off in the lower right-hand corner you got the where you can click a button and it opens up a live chat, but it's a lot more sophisticated than the old ones because it also does lead capture and whatnot. I really like those. So we actually finally went and bought the technology for ourselves and kind of customized it a little bit to start putting on our portals because when I started testing it, it really started to pull quite well. And anytime we added it to a website, we were seeing a nice boost in conversions. So I just started adding them to the portals. So I'm really looking forward to seeing once I got a good full month under my belt to see how much it boosted the lead capture percentage. But I add them because you can program them to pop open and send messages to the people, the little screen pops, based off of how long they've been on the site or on a particular article or clicked on a certain number of houses. And it says, oh, hey, I see you're looking for homes in St. Louis. Have you checked blah, blah, blah? Or, oh, hey, there was a new home that just hit the market, just 25 minutes ago. Have you checked this out or checked that out? So we're programming them to be interactive with people on the websites. And again, I think that's kind of unique and the people seem to like it. So because it's kind of what we call machine learning to an extent of helping them get to where they need to be. All right, so we're not being pushy, we're just giving them helpful tips and advice while they're on the website. Make sense? All right. So Terry, yeah, Chad, do we get training? Yes. If you're working with me, here's the deal. To add another 6 figures, we know that that's more than just, hey, just go throw a portal out there and, boom, your problem solved. No, there has to be training. So as part of that, yes, you're getting complete training with the system because we want to make sure that it's being implemented properly. Now, with that said, I will be working with some of the folks in a one-off capacity of, hey, let's just get your whole program and web presence and portal launched and deployed, and then boom, I'm going to train you on how to run your ads, and you're done. Other folks, we're actually rolling out a monthly training system. It's basically $9.99 a month, and it's basically all-encompassing in that each month we're building on what we've done over the previous month and just spending the time each month building your strategies, building your campaigns, and tweaking them together. And we'll be taking on a limited capacity for, it's kind of like an A-team group, I guess you'd call it. I know that's popular in the coaching world. But that's something that we'll be deploying as well. But again, I'm still putting that together, so that one's not quite ready to rock and roll just yet, but it will be very, very soon. So that's the whole point of chatting, guys, is to figure out what type of capacity works best to help get you from where you are now to, what your goal is. And, I'd really like to get started with that 100 folks. Let's see. So Terry, yeah, just cweber at averagejoelo.com. cweber at averagejoelo.com. And yes, we are also doing done for you for those that, like the idea of portals and lead generation and whatnot, but just say, hey, you know what, I would just rather pay somebody and have all the lead generation done for me. So that is something that we are open to as well. But again, we have to chat first to make sure that it's a good fit, okay? Because I need to be 100% confident that whatever niche you're targeting is something that I can deliver on your expectations. If I can't deliver on your expectation, then I don't want to pretend that I can, because at that point, all that gets you is an upset client, right? That's not worth it. No, we need to be mutually beneficial here, right? Absolutely. So cweber at averagejoelo.com. You just tell me what your goals are and be as specific as possible and what has kept you there. See, I talk to a lot of folks that tell me, well, what I really need is I just need more leads, and well, I just need more of this, or I just need more of that. You know what? I'll just watch some YouTube videos and I'll do it myself. Here's the thing: is like I said, I've been training loan officers since started around 2004, so that's 12 years, and I still have the same databases that I had then. Obviously, it's grown quite a bit over the years, but I've never deleted all my old notes and conversations and whatnot. So I go back and I can look at the folks that were telling me even back then that are still in the industry, even 8, 9, 10 plus years ago saying, yeah, well, I'm just going to do this on my own. And they're still saying the same thing today. But my general rule of thumb is if you've been at it for more than 6 months and you haven't cracked it and grown at least 20 to 30% in income on that particular campaign, then something is seriously wrong. And it's not because, hey, I can do it myself. Usually what it means is there are several pieces missing that need outside intervention to make it work. Okay, it needs an outside expert because there's so many moving parts these days to being a loan officer. It's difficult to get down the technology and get the funnels, get the follow-up, and get all of these things automated and set up properly, and high-level copywriting and conversion and metrics tracking and all this stuff. The folks that say, well, I'll just do it myself, or, oh, well, I'll just head on over to Fiverr and, well, if $5, if that's all it costs to get you to where you need to be and add 6 figures, then everybody and their brother would have done it. But bottom line is anything that can add 6 figures to your bottom line is going to come with a price tag, right? Because it's valuable. If you found a loan officer doing loans for $100, what would your opinion be of that loan officer? No, a good loan officer that's going to get the job done in a smooth transaction, a reliable transaction, is going to cost more. You expect that, right? And that's what we tell our customers. But a lot of folks don't apply that to their own business when they're looking at their marketing solutions. Okay, so just a little justification there on on investing more in yourself. That's why I brought that up. Okay, makes sense? All right. Okay, so let's answer some more questions here. I'm going to scroll through. Let's see what we got as far as the strategy. Anybody got some cool ideas on, did I give you any ideas on portals or new ideas on some marketing approaches? If so, I would love to hear your thoughts. Okay, so here's a question. When are you closing the doors on this? Well, I don't have a solid deadline because I don't know how many people I'm going to need to talk to pick out the 100 that I'm going to work with. Okay, so I don't really have a solid deadline. It's just a matter of what does the calendar bear. So I'll be making those decisions as I go along and talk to the loan officers. And yes, the folks that I'm going to call first are those that actually give me workable information in that email, because that's what I really need to know, and that's what helps me decide who I can work with, is knowing what your challenges are specifically. Saying vague things such as, well, I just need more leads. That doesn't really tell me anything. All my challenge is I'm too busy. That again, it's just too broad of a statement. Doesn't really give me any workable information. So the more detailed you can be, the better. Okay, so Mark, Chad, would you look at what I currently use and make recommendations on what to keep and what to get rid of? Yeah, that's actually, when we work with someone, that's actually one of the big things that we like to do. Is we often find people are paying for a lot of services and a lot of things that really aren't earning their keep. Now, sometimes it's because the programs or whatever they are just aren't that good. Other times it's just, hey, we haven't found a good way to incorporate them, so it's just not being put to use. So either way, we do take a look at and analyze and figure out what needs to stay and what needs to go. So absolutely, and yeah, that oftentimes frees up a lot of income for folks that's just being invested in things that aren't really paying off. So, and that's again part of the 80-20 rule, guys. Is 80% of your results are coming from only 20% of your efforts. So it's identifying what are the 20% of your efforts that are really paying the bills right now, and then what are all these other things that you're paying for that just aren't really earning their keep. So you got it. So Mark says, okay, I think it's my age. I'm tech handicapped. All right. You know how often we hear that. It's technology. I think that's almost every age bracket these days now, though, because technology is moving so fast. How long before we're sitting here doing these webinars talking VR and augmented reality? I mean, I've been really studying that a lot lately because they're predicting that just becoming multi-billion dollar industry here very quickly and using it for a lot of things, everything from training to walking through homes and all this cool stuff. So augmented reality and virtual reality, I'm sure it's only about a year or so away before we're going to need to do webinars on that topic. So, so technology is moving quickly. But the one thing that's consistent, guys, is how long have people been using Realtor.com and Trulia and Zillow and sites like that? You know, no matter what changes in the world of technology, people still need portals to go to find the bulk of their information. This is what we call an authority site. An authority site simply means a thick website. It's heavy on content. And the big problem with SEO, because I've been teaching SEO a long time, you know, heck, just go to my YouTube channel, you see all the SEO videos over the years. But the one problem that most loan officers complain about and that stop a lot of loan officers from really benefiting from SEO is the fact that we always say you need to add fresh content, and a lot of folks get too busy to do so. The advantage of a lead portal such as what we described here today is that content is added for you in the form of properties. Every single day when new homes hit the market, those homes are hitting your website. So Google and the search engines see all this fresh content, and they all contain keywords and street names and cities and counties and all these keywords that people might search for if they're house hunting. It becomes easier and easier to rank. You don't have some thin, light website anymore. You have a website that's filled with content, and then we preload it with the articles and things that you need as well. So yes, that becomes extremely valuable. So absolutely. So yeah, absolutely, Tyler. Yeah, that's one of the things is, you know, it's you're pulling a full IDX feed. Okay, so it's IDX is, you know, tapping into MLS. So you got it. Okay. Perfect. Okay, and how much time does it take to manage the site? Yeah, when you have a portal like this, there's really not a lot that needs to go into quote unquote managing it, because your content is the properties and the content we preloaded for you. Now, we do have plans where you can pay our guys to keep adding hyper-local content to your portal for you, and it's very cost effective. But some folks like to do it themselves. The bulk of them don't. Say, hey, I'm not a good writer, or hey, you know, I don't have the time for that. Okay, that's fine. You know, either you can have one of our guys do it, or we can show you how to find content for it, because there's other strategies where you can use existing content and you're not going to be SEO penalized for it. So I'll show you how to do that too. So content's not the barrier that it used to be. It can be if you're not sure how to get to it, but that's something that we've cracked that problem. We can show you how to get great content. All right. Okay, and yeah, for those of you asking, is this just to email me just about the portal? No, it's if you're looking for, and your goal is similar to mine. Let's say, I mean, you don't have to specifically say, hey, I want to add 6 figures in 2017, because I don't want to put words in your mouth. But whatever your goal is for growing your business in 2017, if you feel that you need somebody to work with somebody that can help remove the technical problems and challenges, as well as the marketing challenges and problems, then go ahead and message me, because it doesn't just have to be about the lead portal. Okay, there's other ways I can work with folks. All right, Paul's saying he's going to chew his arm off, waiting for the phone to ring. Don't do that. Don't do that, Paul. I know you've been killing it out there in the market. I think you're going to need that arm. Need that arm to sign more deals, right? Absolutely. Yeah, you got it. Okay, I'm just scrolling through here. Keep the questions coming, guys. All right. I'm just scrolling through the booms. All right, so yeah, absolutely, Mike. Yeah, just shoot me a message. Okay, so Aaron wants to know, is this available on all homes on the market? I'm assuming just looking at the timing of that question, Aaron, were you talking about the property background check portal instead of the real estate home search portal? Just looking at the time slot on that question, that's my assumption. Okay, yeah. Okay, if that's the case, then yeah, we pull from 156 million homes in the U.S. That's the database that we tapped into. So 156 million homes. So yeah, that's all the U.S. And I do see some folks asking about Canada. Unfortunately, I don't have the kind of the house facts for or Carfax for houses. No, I don't have that for Canada. I have not found a good database to purchase and tap into just yet for Canada. It doesn't mean I won't as we go along, but as of right now, my apologies, I can't really deploy that type of a portal in Canada at this moment. Now, a real estate portal, yes. The property background search, no. Okay, Chad, can you please define what hyperlocal content means? Hyperlocal content is, let's say, instead of your typical articles about, oh, hey, how to do a home, how to get a mortgage for your home, you know, or hey, how to sell a home. Let's say instead it's 5 ways to sell your home fast in the St. Louis market. Well, instead of just being broad and generalized, it's focusing on the St. Louis market. Now, when I click on that link and go to that article is going to mention certain things that might be unique to the St. Louis marketplace. That is hyperlocal. That's not just, hey, broad brushstroke anywhere in the world. This is focusing on strategies for selling in St. Louis. So it's any content that is specific to your marketplace. Believe it or not, for Facebook, a really good strategy that we found for capturing leads as well is when we set up a page that is city specific, but instead of just putting a bunch of mortgage topics on that Facebook fan page, we fill it with things that are, again, hyperlocal, such as new restaurants that have opened and, you know, the festivals that are coming, you know, down the pipe and what now, you know, in this case, you know, holiday events and gatherings, you know, in the St. Louis market. And we fill them with articles like that. And those are the ones that rank, and they get people who are interested in those topics to click on them and land on your website, and it boosts your SEO effectiveness. It gets you more followers, more fans, more relevancy, and overall, it just has a very positive impact on your conversion and on your audience. So that's hyperlocal content, and that's where things like Trulia, Zillow, and Realtor.com, that's where they don't really compete, is because they are very broad in their targeting. That's why it's kind of, I don't want to say it's easy to knock them out of the search rankings, but it's not that hard either. When we have the hyperlocal content, that's when you can take their place and kind of reign supreme in your local marketplace. All right. Okay, so what are they tracking? All right, so Jeff was asking, won't they know that their behavior is being tracked? No, Jeff, no. Most folks have no clue what retargeting is and all that fun stuff. Now, it doesn't mean that if somebody sends a season ad from you and then they see another ad and then another ad maybe a week later, it's if they're really paying attention, you know, they might say, oh yeah, that person probably knows I clicked on their website, but you know, that's about the extent of most people's education as to how the web works. They just know something's happened, but no, it's not something that I would worry about because we're not stalking them. You know, we don't try to annoy our prospects with our retargeting. Instead, it's you drip feed it and you drip feed it the relevant information. You know, something that's helpful and usable as opposed to being salesy and in your face. Does that make sense? All right. I'm just scrolling through the questions here, guys. If I missed your question, go ahead. Go ahead and re-ask. All right, perfect, Terry. Look forward to it. Awesome. Okay, so I see some questions on that process. Okay, and as far as do most CRMs have tracking cookies? A lot of CRMs have some basic level tracking or targeting. Okay. And basically what I mean by that is, hey, if somebody didn't open this email, then send that email, within 48 hours or 72 hours, and things like that. If your CRM or software does not, there are lots of programs out there that you can plug into that will help add that. And then there's even what we call if this then that software out there, and that's actually the name of a software is ifthisthenThat.com, I believe, IFFTT or something like that. I'll have to figure that one out and maybe send you guys the link. But yeah, there's lots of softwares out there that you can plug into to help add automation to what it is you're doing. Zapier is another one. So not all of them have cookies and real advanced targeting, but when you're just getting started, even the basic level targeting and tracking is a heck of a lot better than 99% of what the folks are doing out there. Most of them are not doing anything. So Greg is saying, Chad, are you partnering with the realtor to get the house for sale information from MLS? Yeah, basically, we just need oftentimes the agents share their, MLS ID for you to get access to an IDX feed. So that IDX is what's going to pull directly from the MLS, and you have to have a MLS ID to get access to that IDX. So if you have a good relationship with a realtor or somebody that has an MLS ID, then it's just, hey, you know what, I will share some of what I have coming in with you. I just need access to this MLS so I can actually get the information. So that's what most folks are doing. Okay, what does that look? Okay, scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. All right, good deal. So lots of wonderful questions. And it looks like we got a couple people from St. Louis here today. Awesome. Okay, so Mark is asking, Chad, what is the 20% that Zillow does not have? How can I provide this information? That's what the IDX does for you, because you're actually pulling directly from MLS, whereas Zillow and sites such as those, they're basically using syndication. Okay, so they're just pulling syndicated content. So that means they're not getting things as quickly and as complete as you are if you're tapping directly into MLS IDX. All right, good deal. So I've gotten to a lot of the questions here, folks, but are you... All right, fantastic. So excellent, good deal, guys. So wonderful questions, and I look forward to chatting with you. Please email me, cweber@averagejoelo.com. If you feel there's anything I can help you out with, let's see if we can work together. So again, my goal is 100 loan officers through 2017 to help them add another 6 figures to their bottom line. I believe we have a comprehensive enough and systematic enough approach to where I can hit that goal. All right, and I want you to be a part of it if we're a good fit. So just email me, let's chat. Again, just as qualification parameters so that you're not wasting your time. Guys, if you're on a tight budget and you can't invest in yourself, then this probably isn't a good fit for you, okay? Now, not all of my programs are thousands and thousands of dollars, okay? But building an entire portal that does all of this stuff that would cost you easily 10 to 15 or even $20,000 to replicate if you had to go and code it yourself and get a copywriter and go and test tweak your traffic, again, that takes years to learn, years. So if folks don't value that, then, I'm not a good fit for you. We're not doing that work for free because we put a lot into it. I have a whole team of people that build these things and test them and tweak them. And, we've run literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in ads, hundreds of thousands of dollars in ads. And that's the knowledge base that you're tapping into when you work with me. You're going to benefit from that, okay? So we do have some solutions that are more cost effective than others, but first we have to chat and figure out, what your budget is and what I can help you with and, what holes and gaps need to be plugged. But, we want to help you get there, all right? So for those of you, once I'm done with this call, with this training, I actually have another couple coaching sessions I got to host today, and so I will try to get back with you guys as soon as possible, but don't think I'm ignoring you if I'm not able to get back with you this evening Oftentimes when I run these sessions, it's not uncommon for me to have somewhere to the tune of about 140, 150 plus messages to reply to. And so it's not just me going through those emails, but still that's a lot to respond to and consider. So my apologies. It might take me a little bit to get back with you, but I will get back with you, and I read every single one. All right. So I look forward to chatting with you, and I hope that you found some good information here. And I hope that even if we're not working together, guys, just implement. Take some of what you've learned here today and apply it. I hope that you've learned and maybe opened your mind a bit to some creative ways to attack your local market, because what we've shown you here today, it works. It flat out works. The business model works, even to the tune of 8 and 9 figure businesses. Doesn't mean that's what you're aspiring to be, but bottom line is it works. So I hope you have some great takeaways from today. I'll make this video recording available ASAP. I'll email it out to you, and if any questions pop up, guys, just email me, and hope you make it a great day. Also, for those of you that aren't on our Facebook group, please join us. Again, Facebook, just go to Facebook, search for Future Top Producers, and Serious Mortgage Marketing. Either one of those search terms will bring you to my group, and I'll be more than happy to get you into the group. All right? So that'll get you to more discussions and announcements for training sessions such as this one. Thanks, guys. Make it a great day. Chat with you soon. Bye now.